Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is the first of the cast games that I'm going to be preparing for you. My name is Neetche, and right now we have the Insane Visionaries versus Dude, Stop Trolling. Now, let's see, for the lanes, up top we're going to have Darius versus Kha'Zix. Both of them are starting the boots, 3 health pots, which is the classic start out, gives you the mobility, and gives you the sustain in lane with the 3 health pots. In the mid lane, we have Annie versus Fizz. Annie starting out with 2 health pots and a mana pot. Fizz doing the same. This means that they want the same advantages of having the boots and 3 health pots, but trading some of the extra sustain for a bit more mana. Still, nothing too crazy coming out. It's been standard for quite a while. Moving up here, we see that the positioning is going defensive for both teams. Dude, Stop Trolling is sitting in guarding for the blue invade. Same thing going for the Insane Visionaries. Back to the lanes. For jungles, we have a Rammus jungle up against a Warwick jungle. Both junglers are rather slow, and Rammus starting off with a Hunter's Machete and 5 health potions. This is the new Season 3 jungle item, and is fairly standard. Warwick has yet to buy items. I'm assuming he's having trouble connecting or something like that. Okay, here we go. He disconnected, and he's doing the same thing with the Hunter's Machete and 5 health potions. Rammus is starting off going for his blue buff first, and he is not going for wolves. A lot of times you'll see them go for wolves to get the extra experience in, but in this case, Rammus is not trying that. He's given a good leash by Annie and his bot lane, and Annie versus Fizz is going to be one of the lanes to watch simply because Annie has very good burst at level 6, and Fizz has really good bursts after level 3. So it's really going to be all about Annie charging up her stun, and Fizz baiting the stun out, and then slaughtering her, more or less. Top lane, Darius versus Kha'Zix, should be fairly standard until about level 6. Once they hit 6, both of them have relatively good kill potential, but I think it's probably going to snowball one way or the other with some ganks. Bot lane, we have Vayne and Leona for the red team, and we also have Graves Soraka. Now this one should go fairly standard till about level 3, at which point is going to be all about Leona finding the right time to go in. Leona has 2 stuns and 3 at level 6, but Soraka has a silence and crazy heals. Soraka has actually gone for Clarity as a summoner spell, which is rather odd. Usually you'll see some sort of defensive summoner on her that would an exhaust or a heal so she can stay alive. Well, there is the defensive summoner on Leona, and she's going in. Leona has gone in. They've gotten some of the poke down, and that one ended up actually in the favor of Graves Soraka, because Graves has the heal from Soraka, and it looks like Leona just blew her heal on that, and now she's going in again with Warwick coming around. Leona's forced to flash out, and I can say that was probably a bad engage there. Leona did not have the ward coverage a little bit up here, and she had to flash out of it after blowing her heal when she didn't really need to. So now Leona has to go back, and we have a gank up mid, or not so much a gank as Rammus strolling through, and Fizz being forced back. Rammus goes up to continue his jungle, while Fizz continues to duke it out with Annie. Now for the early CS, we have Fizz going in, and that's exactly what we're talking about right there. We have Fizz trying to harass down Annie and get more damage down, and he was able to do that. He's still got about 2/3 health, she was down to half, and is chugging pots. So now they're battling back and forth, and up top here, we have Darius pushing in against Kha'Zix, but still playing very carefully. because he's still scared of the Warwick ganks. And here's another gank mid. And we have Rammus going in, getting Annie the first blood, almost dying, and Warwick in hot pursuit. And Warwick backs off. The ganks from Rammus are very powerful, and something you always have to watch out for, because he has the taunt and very good CC. And he can also powerball in, which means he can actually come in through the wards. Down bottom here, we have a little bit more action, as Leona seems to be going very aggressive, but Soraka Graves being able to sustain it all the way up. The trick with Leona is she has no sustain. She has no heal, and all she has is crazy all-in CC. When she goes in, she has to go in personally and can't poke from a range like Tarek would be able to, or some other poke champions like Lulu or Sona. Now, as far as CS goes, up top we have Kha'Zix at 21, Darius at 16. Small advantage for Kha'Zix, nothing really big yet. We have Rammus coming out for another gank top, and he powers balls in, flash, Darius pulls in, we have the taunt, and the flash from Kha'Zix, the exhaust goes down, and Kha'Zix is able to jump away, barely. Rammus is going deep. No, okay, Rammus backs out and takes some damage from turret. Good job by Kha'Zix. Slight issue there for Darius, he pulled while Kha'Zix was taunted. They chained that a bit better, maybe they could have gotten a kill. Who knows, Kha'Zix still was able to jump away. So he probably would have survived that one anyway. We have Graves down bottom here, that forced, or killed the Vayne. Let's go see exactly what happened here. We have... Here we go. So, we have Vayne and Leona sitting here. Warwick is coming in for a gank. He throws down a pink ward. And Leona charges in on Soraka. Soraka gets pinned. Very good chain CC there. We have Vayne flashing in for the kill, gets stolen by Leona, and then Graves sits there and buckshot to the face. That's all I need. And Warwick didn't actually do anything there, but he was there just in case. This ends up a win for the green team simply because they got a kill on Graves on the enemy AD, so Graves can farm and he got more money, where Leona can't farm and she got the money, and money on the support isn't the best thing in the world. Leona wants to go more harass on Graves. Not the worst idea in the world, hoping to force him back. And she was able to stay alive. And then here's the gank that we're talking about up top. So, all in all, the bot lane has 20 CS for Vayne, 35 for Graves. And Graves also had a kill, while Vayne only has an assist, which means Graves has a really good advantage bottom lane here. Now, looks like we just had Fizz going top. Gotta rewind again here. So this is just after the gank top. Fizz is coming in. Darius is sitting relatively high health. Darius goes in the bush. Fizz throws off his combo and hops away, while Kha'Zix comes in for a bit of help. And Kha'Zix didn't actually get any help at all. But that's what happens at level 6 when you have an assassin like Fizz. So it looks like the red team now is going in to get Annie a blue buff. And with the blue buff, Annie has a chance of pushing Fizz out of lane, because she'll have great AoE and be able to push him hard. Back to bot lane, looks like Vayne is now going up against Soraka, while Graves went back. Graves got a BF sword, which means with Vayne only having a long sword, he is going to have a lot of extra attack damage on her, and should be able to win trades rather handily. He has 138 attack damage to Vayne's 87. He's got 50 attack damage on her. That is an awful lot early game. And so if he can keep this, that can help them win bottom lane quite handily. Soraka actually going for some harass. Annie coming down. She is seen by the pink ward though. And the green team is just gonna go ahead and back off. Now up top here, looks like Darius is looking for a pull, but Kha'Zix is level 6, while Darius is level 5. It means that Kha'Zix has a pretty good advantage just with that one level there. Now the CS, Kha'Zix still 23, Darius 17. Neither of them are farming really well at this point, and Kha'Zix has a small advantage. Nothing really big yet. We'll see how it goes. Down to the mid lane, we have Annie sitting on 40 CS, where Fizz is at 28. Fizz is 1-1, Annie is 1-0. So, an advantage for Annie, nothing really big yet, but she does have the blue buff. So I expect her to keep Fizz zoned and push him out of lane. Fizz does have a 1 level advantage on Annie. I'm not seeing that as a big deal right about now. We have Rammus up in jungle. Okay, he's too low to go back. For the junglers, Rammus does have a 10 CS advantage over Warwick. He has 42 CS to Warwick's 35 now, but Rammus went for Boots of Mobility. These are great boots for junglers because it means they are going to be ganking a lot. That's the whole purpose of getting those. I mean, get in really quick. With the Powerball, Rammus is going to be able to go crazy on just about all the ganks, and it doesn't even matter if they have wards. If they're in bad position, he'll get them before they can react. Down bottom, things are actually getting back for Vayne. She's only at 10 CS disadvantage now, having 43 to 53. Leona is level 6, which means she has really great burst, and they might be able to just kill Soraka right here before she can do much. Oh, this flash out of Soraka, and Warwick coming in. Are they going to go on Leona? Yes, there's a Warwick ult. The suppression, flash from Leona, and not much damage to her, as Graves didn't get a buckshot down. Leona's going in, even though Warwick's in the area. Soraka ultimate comes out, heals everybody. Leona taking some damage, and makes that okay. And Annie is coming down for some support. They know that Warwick is in the bush here waiting, but do they see Annie? The blue team hasn't pinged anything, and they don't really have wards. Where top lane we had Kha'Zix, looks like he had a bit of a gank, but no real damage done. And Rammus goes back to jungling, and Fizz and Annie are gonna go head to head. Fizz putting some poke down. Not that much really coming in. Annie taking a little bit of damage, but with her CS advantage still sitting at a steady 10, not that big a deal. Vayne is sitting back at turret here because Leona had to go back, so she can't go in really, because Graves' buckshot will really hurt anytime she tries to get some CS. Graves is pushing hard. I'm expecting Graves to go back and maybe get a BF sword, but here comes the Annie. Now if she can time this right, Annie's a stun, the flash, she's got it. There's a flash from Graves, and the kill for Vayne. So that's exactly why you want to have a roaming mid sometimes, because coming down, and Annie's stun is very good. A lot of people don't like Annie. She has some issues, sure, but she's really easy to learn. And she has a reliable targeted stun, or she has an AoE stun with really good range when she drops Tibbers. And what's more fun than dropping a flaming teddy bear on somebody? It's really hard to compare to that. And here we have Warwick lining up with Fizz, waiting for Annie, and Annie looks like she's actually going back. So Warwick will be wasting time. Also looks like there's just a ping down from the blue team onto the bush here. I think they know that there's a ward there now. And Warwick is actually flashing up, getting the Annie. Rammus in for the counter gank. Oh, and look at the damage on Warwick there. Turret's doing some damage, and Annie gets the kill. The Rammus counter ganks are really good. Rammus is going in even further. Annie has some mana, but ooh, Rammus took a lot of damage from that. Soraka is coming up, which is going to leave Graves one-on-one with Leona, and I don't know if Graves knows she's there. Graves is going really far. Vayne can get here in time. That's a free kill on Graves. Leona goes in, Graves dashes out, and no stun from Leona. Oof. That's an issue. Well, we have Fizz really chomping at the bit here. He wants to go after Annie, because when someone's at low health, Fizz is great at finishing him off. But Annie's able to hold him off. She has some mana, and ooh, here we go. Soraka being chased by Vayne and Leona. The tumble. Oh! And Vayne going in for Fizz. Fizz able to hop away. And now Leona is in trouble because it's 4 on her. The Soraka ult comes out. And it looks like we're having a nice little team fight here. Leona going down. Graves uses his ult. And that's it. Just Leona getting caught out, and the green team doing an amazing job of collapsing in and going for it. I think the red team really was just caught out of position there. Kinda sucks, but it does happen. Up top, looks like there's some harass going back and forth, but really no damage being done at all, so not much to say there. We have Kha'Zix starting to get a pretty good lead on Darius now, looking to be 14 CS, which is almost a kill's worth of gold that Kha'Zix has up. Now, they have almost the exact same items. They have tier 2 boots, a long sword, and Darius has the null magic mantle and a ward, while Kha'Zix has some pots. Now, looking down bottom, we have Vayne that is now really far behind on CS. Graves is 2-1, Vayne is 1-1, and Graves has 85 CS to the 60 of Vayne, which means he's got 25 advantage. That's a big advantage, especially at 15 minutes into the game. Now, no dragons have gone down so far, which means that we're only looking at about a 1k difference for the teams. So overall, it's not that much difference, but the Vayne losing this hard early is not good. Now, Vayne is an amazing late game AD carry, better than Graves. So it's not too big of a surprise that Vayne is losing the lane, it's just not very good. But late game, hopefully it won't matter quite so much. Top lane here, we have Darius playing very defensively against Kha'Zix. He still has full mana. I wonder if he's going to try and ambush Kha'Zix, maybe? You never know, sitting in the bush like that. He could be thinking of anything. Nope, he's just going to sit back, get the experience, and not do anything stupid, which sometimes is the best idea. We have the green team sitting back. Are they going to go for dragon? No. Soraka's just going to go ahead and ward it, and the red team knows they warded it. So, if Leona had a pink ward, which she doesn't, she could go ahead and pink that and set up for a dragon, but right now, no one's really posturing to go take a dragon right now. Everyone's content to sit back and farm up, which, hey, it works. Now, Leona's looking to go in, but she's learned not to go in on Soraka. She goes in on Soraka, Soraka might die, but Graves will get free damage onto Vayne. So it's very much a stalemate here, and just looking at each other from the other side of the bushes. Warwick is coming down. Warwick has his ultimate up, and he has red buff. And he decides not to go for a gank. Or is he? He's confused, he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, he's gonna come down and keep farming golems. Rammus is mid, after Annie was just killed here. Let's go back for this. We have Annie sitting at relatively full health. Fizz going in with the ultimate. He's just going all in under the turret. Wow, that damage. That just hurts from Fizz. So, yeah, Fizz, you always have to watch out for. It can kill you in the blink of an eye if you're just the slightest bit out of position, or in this case, Annie didn't have a stun. If Annie had a stun, she would have been back. Fizz would have been stunned under turret, dead Fizz. And unfortunately, it didn't quite go that way. So let's go ahead and speed up here. And here we go. So the bottom turret here. Oh, gank up top. Looks like Darius is going in. Rammus is ganked. Darius pulls. Nice pull there. And are they going to get it? Darius gets the kill. Oh, and Kha'Zix with the minion damage, picking up Darius. That's always an issue when you have a good bruiser like Kha'Zix that can really burst. Down bottom, we have Annie coming down bottom for a kill on Soraka again. Annie really likes to get her. And they're just going to walk out, play it safe, and leave Graves relatively full health. And looks like they're going to try for a dragon. Fizz is waiting. And, ooh. If Fizz had just waited a second longer, he'd be dead. Now, the red team has 4 here in the mid area, and they could go for a dragon or try and get an objective. And, of course, they're not. Okay. So we go. Leona and Vayne coming down. Graves playing it smart. Throw the smoke and run away. Now we have Soraka picking up the Ruby Sightstone. Now this is one of the new support items that is absolutely amazing. It has 5 charges of wards. You put them down and it's a ward for 3 minutes just like normal. And it has 5 charges. You can have 3 wards down from it down at any time. Amazing early game, mid game, late game. It's beautiful because then you don't have to spend money on wards and you can spend all the money you need on other things, which also almost makes it a GP10 item. Not quite, but effectively it is because you get more money they'd otherwise have to spend on wards. We have Warwick here, looking to come in on the Annie, and Annie's going for her blue. Warwick does not know where she is right now. They might suspect she's at her blue, but Warwick's just going to walk out. Oh, we have Soraka coming in. They're going for the blue. Annie stuns. Rammus taunt. Ooh, and a dead Soraka going up to try and ward that. Gotta be careful warding when you think they're there. Fizz does not get his ult. Warwick's poking back and forth. Flash from Annie to go burst down Graves. And this Annie is on a roll. She is 4-1 with a death cap at 19 minutes. That is really going to hurt. Now it looks like instead of Dragon, they're going to try and push down the mid turret. Because Dragon they can take almost any time, but the turrets, they can be defended much easier than a Dragon. Fizz is here. He's going to try something. Pokes down on Vayne, backs out, and he's just going to let him have it. This isn't going to try and defend. And the red team backs out after going 8-5 in kills and getting the first turret of the game at 20 minutes. Darius and Kha'Zix has this turret really low. He can blow on this thing and it'll fall over. Darius is sitting at about 1/3 health, and Kha'Zix could probably kill him if he wanted to, which means that Darius' decision to run away and go home is good. Looks like we're going to have a fight here. Let's rewind for a second. Red team going in, getting the Dragon. They have 4 on it. Blue team going in. We have Fizz and Soraka. And we have Leona. Oh! Going for the Soraka. Fizz jumps in. And we have Fizz pinned against the wall with no flash. The Soraka ult coming out. Leona is slightly out of position now. Leona ult goes out. They're working for damage on her. Nope. That's just a clean Dragon kill there. They tried to contest it, but when you have 4 people on it and there's only 2 people to contest, one of them being a support, not a whole lot you can do. I'm actually rather surprised that Fizz was able to make it out alive. I think they probably could have killed him if they wanted to, but they're playing it safe now. And this means there's a nice small lead for the red team right now at 25.8 thousand to 23. So they've got almost a 3,000 gold advantage at 21 minutes. We're starting to get some of the big items coming out here. Kha'Zix was able to finish the Black Cleaver. Deathfire Grasp from Fizz. Wit's End for Warwick. The Bloodthirster for Graves. Soraka doesn't have any money. She's a support. Darius does not have any big items yet. As we mentioned before, Annie's got her death cap and Boots of Lucidity, which is rather odd. I've never seen that on Annie before, but she's going for cooldown reduction so that she can get all the spells out as quickly as possible. Not a bad idea. Rammus is going for lots of armor, no surprise there. And blue team is looking to try and steal the red team's blue buff. And are they going to do anything? We have pings going out. All 5 are here for them. And no, they're not going to go for it. They do have wards, though, and they're still staying in the area. It's kind of a standoff, but the red team does not have good vision of what's going on here. You can see 1, 2 wards there. The red team only have 1 ward, but they did not know where the enemy team was. Okay, here we go. 4 versus 5 mid. We have Vayne down bottom, which could be an issue if they force a fight here. Though I'm not quite sure if they really want to dive or Rammus and Leona. That's kind of scary, because all those guys have good stuns. Darius goes for a pull, doesn't quite get it. Vayne is coming back over, and she will be sorely needed, as Annie is just above half health, and Rammus has taken some damage. Kha'Zix is trying to poke everything down, but hopefully there'll be a team fight coming up very soon. More of the dance middle. Everyone just dancing around looking for the mistake the enemy's making to see if they can take advantage of it. Okay, Rammus puts down the ward. If he'd seen that a second earlier, he could have been able to kill Soraka, possibly. But right now, it's just poke going down. Mostly the green team doing the poking here. Darius going for another pull and whiffs it. Which means that Annie, Rammus, and Darius a little bit are losing health and will be in trouble if there's an engagement. Well, the green team is at completely full health, and they still have Soraka, and Soraka has her ultimate ready, which means she has got a lot of health ready for her team. Now, as far as the CS goes, since the laning phase is officially over, we have Kha'Zix at 99, Darius at 71. Kha'Zix is beating Darius, but neither one really have outstanding CS. Fizz sitting at 88 to Annie's 96. So Annie's won that, and Annie has 4 kills. So that is very good for Annie. She's already got the death cap, like we said. And for the junglers, they're pretty much even. 91 to 93. Neither of them really have any kills. Rammus has more assists, so he's a little bit ahead, but not by much. Now, for the AD carries, both of them have 2 kills, but Graves has 168 CS, while Vayne has 120, which means Graves is a good chunk ahead of Vayne. But what's important to note is that the money you have isn't effective until you buy anything, because Graves has Bloodthirster and Zeal, while Vayne has Bloodthirster and Zeal and health potions. So effectively, they have the same amount of damage output because of items. Though, once we look at money, Graves has 1,800 to spend, Vayne has 1,000. So once they go back and buy, they can turn that into an advantage for each other. The supports both have the Ruby Sightstone, and are both working on picking up an Aegis of the Legion. Okay, there we go. Darius grabs the pull, Leon ultimate comes in, Graves is slaughtered. Soraka goes down, double kill for Darius. Kha'Zix is putting down some good damage here. Fizz gets out of the way early. We have a taunt by Rammus to kill the Warwick. And this is looking really good for the red team. Fizz tries to go back in, pick up a kill, but that did not work out well. Kha'Zix gets hunted down, and that is a 5-for-1. That's really gonna hurt. Annie picked up 2 kills there, Darius picked up 2 kills, and it looks like Leona picked up one of the kills. So, yeah, big issue. That was all because Darius got 1 pull. You always gotta watch when you have someone with a pull like Blitzcrank, Darius, or Nautilus. If they get that pull, you're in trouble, because they got him out of position, was able to burst down the AD carry, and then just running away from there. Now Graves is back up. He was able to buy. He's going for the last whisper, trying to get Leona, and he does. He was stayed a bit too long, and the burst from Graves is really good. Now the dragon is back up, and we have both supports picking up an Aegis of the Legion at the same time. I'd say one of the best support items if you're going tanky. It was incredibly popular in Season 2, and Season 3 hasn't diminished any, because it has the aura of Legion. Nearby minions and champions gain 10 armor, 50 magic resist, and we also had a cooldown for Fizz just now. Let's go back and look at that. We have a turret going down, and Annie is trying to defend 4 versus 1. Now, it doesn't matter who you are, you can't defend 4 versus 1, especially 27 minutes. The Warwick ultimate, Fizz got her. Just a bad idea. Don't try it. So there's another turret going down, and the money is sitting at 34,000 to 30,000. So there's a 4,000 lead for the red team, not quite as much as you'd expect after them getting an ace for 1. Now the green team here went down and picked up the dragon, which means that gold lead is diminishing. They're gonna try and pick up the blue buff here so Annie doesn't get it. And Soraka ended up with the... Okay, she's not the best person, but... Oh well, they net it to the enemy, and that's the important thing. Because it means more heals and more silences. Fizz almost getting caught out. And a taunt on Soraka. And looks like absolutely nothing is going to happen there. Neither side really wanted to engage that much. So they're going to back off and go back to farming. Right there, Rammus realizes that they stole the blue buff. He's probably a bit pissed, but not much you can really do at this point. Now, Graves just picked up his last Whisper, and he's picking up more items for his Phantom Dancer. But the last Whisper is one of the best items for armor penetration because it does 35%. That's the highest percentage you can get, and it gives some attack damage on top of it. Standard item for AD carries when somebody's stacking armor, like Rammus. Because Rammus, with the Frozen Heart, really going to slow down all the attack speeds, but the enemy doesn't really do much with attack speeds. Graves does some attack speed, yes, but he also has incredibly good burst with his buckshot and everything else. Kha'Zix, mostly ability-based. Fizz, mostly ability-based. But it does give cooldown reduction, and Rammus scales well off armor. But now, with Graves having the last Whisper, armor isn't worth so much. Unless, of course, you want to dive a turret, which Rammus is incredibly good at. Because his defensive ball curl gives him more armor, and he's already got tons of armor, so way to go. So they were able to just tank down the turret. It looks like they're going to back, and I'm assuming that they think someone's going to come, but they just traded the bottom turret for a top tier 2. Definitely a bad trade. So you're able to get the outer turret, which honestly could have gone down almost any time, for one of the inner turrets for free, so definitely not so good. Now if we look around here, Dragon is down, and there should be a couple more Dragon kills coming, but the gold is incredibly close right now. The 3k gold at 20 minutes was a nice small lead, and now that lead is the same at 30 minutes, which means it's much smaller now, effectively because everybody has more money. Now, Darius has yet to complete a big item. He's buying a bunch of parts. He's got the Phage here, he's picked up the Hex Drinker, he's got his boots, he's got the items for Warmogs, but he does not have a completed item yet. Where Kha'Zix has the Black Cleaver, which was incredibly broken for the first Season 3 patch. Now is not quite so broken, still an incredibly good item. Fizz sitting on Deathfire Grasp, which is very good for an assassin. And we have Kha'Zix trying to defend. We have a team fight going on. 3v5, it's not looking too good. There's 2 down. Fizz is going to try and get in the middle of this. I'm not really liking Fizz going in, because now it's going to be 2v5. But Fizz is doing some good damage, bouncing around. Will he get Leona? He's got the Ignite on her. And Leona lives, Fizz goes down, Graves goes down, and here's the last person. They pick up Soraka. So that is 5 kills for free. And they've got 20 seconds before anybody comes up and can do anything. Looks like they're going to try and push down mid-turret. Leona and Annie are very low. Rammus is sitting in near death as well. And you got the turret. Are they going to get the inhibitor? Now, if they stay too long, this could be very bad, because Kha'Zix can jump on them and slaughter almost the entire team. And they're running in. Warwick's there. Does not get there in time, which means the first inhibitor going down. And that was a very good engage, because they're able to get a 3v5 and clean up the rest of the team when they come to help. Which always means you need to remember rule number 1. If somebody is caught out, do not help them. You'll probably end up dead yourself. So, now look at the money again. We have 43,000 to 36. They basically doubled their gains right there, and their lead to a 6k gold, which is significant advantage at this point in the game. Now, Warwick is going for a very offensive build. Usually you see a Warwick go very tanky, but this Warwick is going for Wit's End and a Last Whisper, which means he wants to just jump on somebody and slaughter them. Doesn't care about living too long, and they have Kha'Zix going for more of the tanky, I guess, with the Black Cleaver and the Hex Drinker, but they don't have anybody very tanky. Well, on the other side, we have Rammus, who is incredibly tanky, and we have Leona, who's going very tanky and already has the Runic Bulwark, which is the new Season 3 upgrade to Aegis, which gives a lot of magic resist, which will really help out against Fizz and Kha'Zix and Warwick. Now, Darius was able to complete his Warmogs, which means that we have 3 very tanky people on one side and a bruiser for a tank on the other side. So if they can get the engagements down, this is going to be really tough to come out of. So right now it's looking like the red team is going to win because they have a better team comp for late game. They can just charge in, and they're about to catch them out. What'll happen? He didn't do anything. I don't know what she was thinking. They didn't want to just kill one person, but they probably could have gotten a kill there if they wanted, but they're playing it safe. So here we go. Annie looking for somebody else. The dragon is up. Rammus is going in, wards, and give it up without a fight. But now they're all trapped in the dragon pit. Will they go in? There we go. There's a fight. That's what we wanted. Graves sitting in the back. Soraka sitting in the back. Not doing a whole lot. Fizz able to jump out, but that's 2 kills for dragon. Now, that's pretty much even for gold, but that does mean that the red team has 5 people up against 3. So they're going to go for a team fight, get a tower. We got a flash out. They want to kill Graves. They want to kill somebody. Can they? Rammus going down. Gets the taunt. And Annie with the burst. Darius with the pull. Fizz able to jump out again. Sometimes you just hate that Fizz jumping away. But, nonetheless, they were able to get another kill out of it. And they got a turret. Which means their lead is lengthening by quite a bit now. And they're going to have to throw this game pretty hard in order to lose. They have super minions coming into the base. They have 3 people up on the enemy side. Another turret going down. They should be able to get the inhibitor. They're pretty full. Nope. Annie went back, so they didn't want to engage on a 4v5. Probably a good choice. Actually, it would have been a 4v4 because they killed Graves. Still, it's a better idea to run out and not overstay your welcome and throw and give the other team an advantage. So, they're going to go back, and they'll be happy with their 8,000 gold lead at 35 minutes. Now, Annie has completed her Zhonya's Hourglass. Now, this is one of the best items, I think, for any mage, because all you do is you run in, you blow your spells, and then for 2 seconds, the enemy can't do anything to you, and it usually pisses them off. And I'm all in favor of that. And here we go. Red team going in, going for a Baron. There are no wards on Baron. They have no idea they're doing this, or if they do, they're not even going to try and stop it with 1 inhibitor exposed. They're just sitting back at base, and they're going to try for a last team fight. Because at this point, that's about all they can do. Try and engage the enemy under turret, have them mess up. Though with the Baron buff, they could probably walk under turrets and kill them anyway. Because Rammus is doing this right now. He's taking some damage, but not a whole lot. And Darius and Leona could both tank almost as well. So they take the turret, and they're backing out. So they're going to go buy, maybe get some potions, and get the last fight here. Soraka is going up here to ward, and luckily didn't stay too long. Now we have Vayne coming into this with an Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, and Phantom Dancer, which basically means anybody on the enemy team will be dead in 3 shots. There's not much chance anybody can survive that. We have Darius with his pull and his Warmogs, which means he's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, but with his pull and his bleeds, they're not going to be getting away too easily, and he's not going to die. We have Annie with her Death Cap Zhonyas and Morel's Evil Toman, or the upgraded version of it. So she's going to be able to burst 1 or 2 people down almost instantly, and she's also working on her Guardian Angel. Rammus, who has tons of health and tons of armor, and he's not going to die either. So this is really going to be tough for them to pull out. Graves has good items. He's got Last Whisper, Phantom Dancer, and Bloodthirster, which means he's going to put out some good damage if they can protect him. The problem is they don't have very much CC. They can't stop anybody. Warwick has his ultimate, which is good. It'll do some damage. But the issue is, how can they stop anybody else from getting to Graves? Fizz has a death cap and his Deathfire Grasp, which means he can go after one person and kill them, and probably stay alive. But after that, not so much. Soraka still has not upgraded her Aegis of the Legion, because it looks like she wants to try and rush a Zeke's Herald, which would be definitely good to help out Graves, give some extra sustain to Warwick, and a little bit to Fizz, and more damage for Kha'Zix. So good item overall, but I think it's going to be too little too late. And here goes Leona in on Soraka, not who she wanted, and they back out. Darius gets the pull, and they just go in and take down Soraka. Oh, there we go. Annie going incredibly low from Graves, but she stays out of range while her team helps out. Leona going very deep into Kha'Zix. Leona does fall, but so does Kha'Zix. And there's a last member for the enemy team, and the red team is just going to walk through and take an ace for one.